All right, so my third and final loss of the day, kind of smoked myself on this one. So what ended up happening was is my I still was having the hope and the belief that this thing will push back up to where I wanted it to go, but instead of entering 615 calls, I ended up going 613s. Okay, so it came down to the support. I ended up getting out of the previous position there. This thing ended up coming down to my support. It kind of respected the support. The next green candle that was my entry, which I looked at as a confirmation candle, it was a real big candle. So this thing came in like this. And one of the mistakes that I made is I was trading Webull on my computer, Webull desktop, and Webull mobile on my phone. Enter my contracts, enter my position on desktop, but I had my contracts loaded up on my phone, and swiping away, I ended up entering another contract. So now I'm in a position size of two for this long that I just entered. So looking at this, it respected the support, and I'm gonna bump down to the 1 minute so we can actually see how the candle looked when it came in. Okay, that's that. Boom. Okay, this is the candle that I took as my confirmation to the upside. Right, it broke the 8, it broke the 21. We're almost up to the VWAP. 613 is right above the VWAP, so I'm looking at this as confirmation. Uh, so I'm in. So I'm in it at this point. And this candle happened really fast, like within 2, 3 seconds, it was already there. So this thing did end up pushing up green again to the VWAP and pulling back down. So I'm already in, and now I'm holding on to it. And I think that I was in this all of 21 minutes. So now this thing is just, it bumped up again. And, one of the issues that I have that I'm working on is letting those losers go, cutting my losses slow, cutting my losses quick as I can, because this thing went up, and look at what he did. It just pulled back down. It just fell. It just continued to fall. It came back down to the support. It bumped back up. It started to wick a few times off the 8, off the 21. It didn't fall. It finally broke under where my stop loss would have been if I was actually using one. Um, but I mean, this thing went down. It pulled back up. It came back down again. It pulled back up. It fell again. It pulled back up, and then it finally went on ahead and it broke the support. And at that point, I had to call it. I had to get out there. Like, still respecting the support, but this next candle, it went on. Not this one, but there. It broke under, and at this point, I was out. Um, looking back on it, I should have been out much earlier, especially when that mistake happened. I could have used that as a sign to, when I bought one contract, accidentally entered another one, and then this thing already wasn't going the direction that I wanted it to go and moving how I wanted it to move. That should have been my sign to go ahead and get out of the position. I should have went ahead and closed it, sat on my hands. Um, but I didn't. I held on to it, being hopeful, thinking that this thing was going to bump off that support, push its way up, break the 8, break the 21, um, break that VWAP, and then head up to the upside for another dollar or two. That's what I was thinking what would happen, but apparently that's not what ended up happening. So at this point, I was done. I ended up getting off, shutting everything down, getting into bed, going to take a nap because I was so mad about it. When I woke up around like 11, took about a 2 hour nap. Look what this thing did. Look at this thing. This thing came all the way down to 600. From here where I got out, it pushed back up. The support turned into the new resistance. It tested it a couple of times. It broke down, came back up, retested it. Broke down, came back up, retested it, fully rejected it. Broke under that the previous low. It turned into a new resistance that it wouldn't break under. Okay, and then this thing just sold. So from the time that I went to sleep and this thing was at 608, In 2 hours, it fell $8 all the way down to 600. So, a few of my takeaways from the day is the trend is your friend. This thing started all the way up at 627 yesterday, and today it all the way down to 600. It fell all the way down. Look at the trend. It fell down. It fell. It fell. The only time that it came back up and started going sideways was the aftermarket and the aftermarket and the pre-market. It was pretty much flat. It came sideways. But once that thing opened back up, the trend jumped back in. The trend came back alive, and this thing just dumped for the rest of the day. One of my mistakes, the mistakes that I did make that I can say that I made was one, holding on to my losers way too long. Like, call a loser, admit when you're wrong, let it go, bro. Like, that's just it. Like, let it go. Like, have some type of boundaries or have some type of barrier that you have in place to where, this thing goes 10% the wrong way, not total account value, but, position size. The position goes 10% in the wrong way. Let it go. Like, be okay with closing it out and re-entering, getting back in. And then trust the trend. Like they say, the trend is your friend. Like, this thing was going down all day. It had all of the signs from yesterday to today. This thing just sold, 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 sold. So, if I could have gone back to this morning and made a difference in something, what I would have done is I would have respected the trend. I would have been in puts all day. Like, buy a call for what? Until this thing, exhausts all the selling and it gets to a bottom to where I know that, this thing is getting ready to turn, then, let's get back in and we can go back on the calls. But it was a mistake for me to buy calls at any point today. Those two contracts, buying calls, those are mistakes. So I guess that's kind of my analysis for today. I'm learning that trading is about, survival more than it's about profit gain. Because if I would have protected my capital, that first trade that I took when I was up $75 and I wanted it to go to 100 because it did it the session before, when it started to go the other way, okay, we down $10 from where it was, take the pros and get out. Let's not hold on to it and hope that it's going to come back up. Hope that it's going to go up and then fall back down. Get the money and get out. But instead, the bad habit, like I said, that I have is holding on to losers absolutely too long, to where now instead of me being up $70, now I lost $100. It's it's not it's not ethical. It's not smart. Um, the second one, I got out of that fairly quick. I think I might have gave back uh, maybe 20% on the position, but account size, I think it was maybe 2%, 3% or something like that. So I can live with that. But that last trade was absolutely ridiculous to get in a position to add another uh, add another contract into a losing position and then hold on to that losing position as long as I held on to that losing position. So it's a recipe for disaster. So that's kind of just where I'm at with it today. And tomorrow when we go into the session, we're going to go into it with an empty mind, not chasing to make the money back that I lost today, not trying to get that back and then some. We're going to go in, same strategy, same plan, remove the emotions out of it, and let's just go in and get what the market gives us. We're going to get in, we're going to read the market, um, and we're going to make it do what it do. But that's it for this one. Guess I'll give it y'all on the next one.